11.6 Volume and surface area of spheres. A sphere is a set of points in space a fixed distance from a given point, or center. The surface area formula for a sphere is 4 times pi times the radius squared. So for a sphere, you only need one measurement, and it's the radius, in order to find its surface area. So example 1, what is the surface area of the sphere? In this case, the sphere gives us a diameter of 10, which means our radius is half of that, which is 5. So we're going to plug in the radius into our formula. So surface area equals 4 pi times your radius squared. Squared is 25. 4 times 25 is 100. So your surface area is 100 pi, or in this case, right around 314.15 meters squared. Question 2, what is the surface area of a sphere with a diameter of 14 inches? Well, once again, they gave us the diameter and we need the radius. So we cut the 14 in half. So our radius is 7. So we're going to plug that into our formula. Surface area equals 4 pi times our radius squared. 7 squared is 49. 49 times 4 is 196. So our surface area is 196 pi, or if you multiply it out, 615.75 inches squared. Earth's equator is about 24,902 miles long. What is the approximate surface area of the Earth? Well, think of the equator as being the circumference. It's a belt that wraps around the sphere. Well, we should remember that our circumference formula is equal to 2 pi r, or pi times diameter. All right, so let's use 2 pi r in this case. So that means we're going to get 24,902 equals 2 pi times your radius. So what we need to do now is divide both sides by 2 pi. And so in this case, we figure out that our radius for Earth is 3,963.3 miles. Now that we know our radius, we can plug this into our surface area formula. Surface area equals 4 times pi times 3,963.3 squared. Use your calculator, plug it in, and see what you come up with. So our surface area should be, when multiplied all the way out, a very large number. So it's right around 197,389,368.9 miles squared. What is the surface area of a melon with a circumference of 18 inches? So just like the last problem, we're going to use the circumference formula, 2 pi r, and we're going to solve for the radius first. So that's 18 equals 2 pi times the radius. So we'll divide both sides by 2 pi. And make sure you're putting it in parentheses. It just makes the answer, make sure your calculator keeps track of the 2 and the pi together when dividing the 18. So in this case, you get your radius to be right around 2.86. Now using the radius, we find the surface area, which is 4 pi times our radius squared, so 2.86 squared. So in this case, when we multiply all of this out, we should get a surface area of about, well, let's just multiply it in terms of pi. 32.72 pi, or if we want to multiply it all the way out, we get right around 102.9 inches squared. So next up is the volume for a sphere. The volume formula for a sphere is 4/3 pi times radius cubed. So once again, we only need the radius to find our volume. So for the first example, our radius is 6, so we're going to plug it into our formula. Volume equals 4/3 pi times 6 cubed. So we want to calculate this. So we take 6 cubed times 4/3, and we should get right around 288 pi, or if we want to multiply that out, we get right around 904.8 meters cubed. Question 2, they give us the diameter is 60, but instead of diameter we want radius. So we cut the diameter in half and we get 30. So our volume formula becomes 4/3 pi times 30 cubed. When you multiply the 30 cubed and the 4/3, you should get your volume to be right around 36,000 pi. Or if you multiply it all out together, you end up with 113,097.3 inches cubed. So 113,097.3 inches cubed. Question 3, they gave us the radius. Go ahead and try this one on your own, and so pause the video and check back in a few minutes when you're finished. So your volume formula is 4/3 pi times your radius cubed. Your radius cubed is, or your radius is 12, so your radius cubed would be 12 cubed. You want to multiply that by 4/3 to get your answer of 2,304 pi, or if you then multiply through by pi, you get 7,238.2 millimeters cubed. Question 4 has us working backwards. They give us the volume as 5,000 meters cubed. They want to know what the surface area is to the nearest square meter. This means we first have to calculate what the radius is. So for this problem, we're going to take 5,000, our volume, and set equal to our volume formula. 4/3 pi r cubed. So now the first thing we want to do is get rid of the 4/3, and in order to do that, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, 3/4 on both sides. So that means I'm going to get, in this case, 3,750 equals pi times your radius cubed. Now I want to divide by pi, and in this case I will get 1,193.66. That equals my radius cubed. To remove the cube, I have to take the cube root. An easier way to do this would be to raise both sides of the equation to the 1/3 power. So that means when I raise 1,193.66 to the 1/3 power, I get that my radius is 10.61. They asked us to find the surface area, so now with this, I'm going to plug it into my surface area formula. 4 pi times my radius squared. Well, my radius is 10.61, so I'm going to plug that in. And so when I multiply it out, I get my surface area to be 1,414.6 meters squared. This question is just like the previous one. They've given you the volume, they've asked for the surface area. So pause the video and try this problem on your own. Remember, it's just like the one before it, so look back at that one for examples and guidance if you need to. When you're ready to check your answer, unpause the video. So, you set up your equation, 4,200 equals 4/3 pi r cubed. Undo the 4/3 by multiplying by the reciprocal, 3/4, divide by pi, and then take the cube root of both sides to get that your radius is 10. Once you have your radius, you plug it back into your surface area formula of 4 pi times 10 squared. You get that your surface area is either 400 pi or 1,256.6 feet squared.